What a day it is today in Wellington. No wind, sun is shining, and I'm in the garage working. So I've got the block on the stand. I've got some parts laid out here on the table. And let's get to today's video. Thank you guys for joining in yet again. So I have the block on the stand. I've got some parts laid out here that you guys saw briefly. Balance shaft delete kit. I've got the oil pump, just stripped it out just to clean it and just to inspect the gear, just to see. We had two of these pumps available, can't afford a new one, so we're going just seeing which one's got the better backing plate, and this one looks that it will do the job. So I've got some dowel pins that's going to go onto the cradle. I've got the plug that I need to thread into the block, tap the block, and then thread that little grub screw in. But this block is not the F20 like you guys think. So in the last episode I showed you guys that we had a little lip on where the dome and the block had a little step. I'll just put a photo in or a little video clip of it in. So we are opting to go with an H22 bottom end block, being that we couldn't find any 86mm pistons, and the one that we could find is too expensive. So we got H22 gasket, some exhaust intake gaskets, some ARPs for the H22. There's the part number. I have finished the head. It's all ported. It's got new valve stem seals in, all the hardware is in and ready to be bolted or torqued up to the block. But before we get to that, I need to I need to tap that block out, or this hole. And if I stutter, it is because I've never done this. This is my first time. So I've only watched a couple of YouTube videos, and what I've seen, obviously the guys put it on a socket. I had to weld something in. That gets put in there and gets tapped. So this obviously doesn't fit into there. And this is your main feed. I'll show you guys now for the oil sprayers. So this comes like so, gets bolted in, and that's your oil sprayer jets. So we are tapping right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see inside there, but it is tapped. I'm not too sure how deep it needs to go. If you guys are gonna do this, might as well put some grease on the end so that you guys don't have filings that get stuck in the engine. But we are gonna clean this block out. You can see there, it looks quite all the way to the actual bearing cap at the bottom where the shaft actually runs. So let me get this cleaned up. Got some thread lock on this. Let's see if it works. I think that's tight enough. I mean, I don't supply a torque setting, but it's in, all thread locked. I think that's tighter than what it should be, but that's all torqued up. Who am I bullshitting? So I've got the little grub screw in. I've tapped it with the tap that the kit supplies, and I've tightened it all up. It seems to be quite snug in there. I've cleaned the block. So for now, I think this is done. And let's get to the girdle now. So I've got the girdle removed from the main caps. The main caps get bolted on here. These little dowel pins, there's a large one that sits on the top there, and then you got 3 smaller ones, one there, there, and there. Those have been removed. I just took a vice grip and pliers and pulled them out. So those are out. So now we can fit the solid pins. They go in there on the shaft, not on the shaft, on the girdle. The big one goes at the back, and then you got 3 smaller ones that sits in the front. One there, and one there. So I'm going to attempt to knock these in. I've seen some people use some torch to heat up the aluminium so it expands a little bit, but I'm just going to try to moor it in. So that went in quicker than I thought. So as you can see, there's the solid one all knocked in, and here are the 3 smaller ones in the front. So that's all in. I've measured it just to make sure that they're all the way sunken to the bottom. So that's in. I'm just going to clean this off, put it back onto the block, put the main cap bolts in, and torque that down, and then I'll show you guys when I'm done. As you guys can see, I've got the girdle all torqued up, all torqued. I'm using the old hardware. Those little splash trays or whatever you want to call it, they are in the oil feed for the little jets. They're all torqued up, rotates nice and freely. And I went along, sorry, the light, it's already getting dark outside. The delete kit's got this little plug. I've already knocked that in. I've put the 2 gears and the backing plate on. That's all been Loctited in. So before I put this on the motor, I just want to show you guys the kit that we got is actually, this just slides in quite freely. So I was told just to seal this in with some sealer. Hopefully it doesn't rattle loose. So I'm just gonna use some grey JB Weld to keep that in place. Put the seal in, put the cover on, and then we can fit this. I'll show you guys when I'm done. So I have the oil pump on, the little 6mm bolts, there, and there. Those are all torqued down. These 2 12s are torqued down. I'm gonna fit this plate now with the last dowel in here. Everything turns nicely. Nice seal work. Hopefully she doesn't leak, but I'm going to show you guys now. So here's the last. Let me just grab the sealer. So I was told that because this slides freely, I need to seal it in. So I'm gonna put some sealer on it. Oh goodness, I'm gonna try. Okay, wait. Let me just put you guys down for a second and then I'll show you. All sealed up. And in she goes. That looks very... that doesn't look very professional, but nobody's gonna see that. So that is all sealed in. And I'm just going to put a little bit of sealer around this O-ring here because I don't have a new one. We are still waiting on parts for this block. So I'm just going to put a little bit of sealer there and close this up, and I'll show you guys now. Plate is on, a little bit of sealer pushing out, but that's all good as long as she doesn't leak. That's on, everything is buttoned up. And that's it for tonight. It's already dark outside. I had some other errands to attend to. and I'll probably fit the rear main well seal cover at a later stage. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. The delete kit is all in. So the things still to do is the rear main wheel seal, the crankshaft seal. That we're still waiting on that, and also I couldn't fit the pistons because we are still waiting on the rings. We do have the gasket set like I showed you guys in the beginning. I do have the studs, the head gasket, the head is all done. Everything was ready for a video of just getting the block all prepped and refreshed, and with the delete kit, with the ARP head studs, with the new head that's been ported, valve stem seals, but we are waiting on rings and the seals. So unfortunately I have to end this video right here, but thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week.